See him a beast when he hear that sound like yeah, beat on the beat when he hear that sound like woo. Yeah, bitch on the champ, only me one round like yeah, me, I'm a G-Ring.
All right, folks, undefeated Cage Fury fighter sitting at 6-0 as an amateur, Luke Fernandez. Luke, how you doing, man? You're supposed to fight this weekend. Unfortunately, the fight is off. Would rather be meeting under different circumstances, but this will do. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I can't complain. Would have much rather been, like you said, meeting over at AC, talking after the fight, after a big dub, but I'll take what I can get. Health is wealth, so as long as I'm healthy, it is what it is, you know?
So, I from what I understand, you had to pull out of the fight. What happened, man?
It actually was like a accumulation of a few things, but mainly I had an infection, actually, and it was on my face. And first, I just thought it was an abscess. Some things happened, went to the hospital, got it checked. It got misdiagnosed. And then over some period of time, like 24 hours, it got crazy and like inflamed and large. Had to go back, and turns out I had cellulitis in my whole face. Got super serious for a little bit. I had to stay in the hospital for 3 days on some IVs and stuff, and antibiotics and steroids and stuff like that. But after that, I was good. But the doctor and like one infectious disease doctor told me like I can't be getting hit in the face for 2 weeks. So I was like, I'm in a fight camp. Can I wear like a headgear, make it happen? He was like, no, you can't have the area inflamed because this could spring back up and it could like get worse and it's serious. So I had to make that decision.
Well, I mean, dude, it's your professional debut. You were going to go up against Elvis Hernandez Alvarez. Not a bad decision. It's not like you had a little pinky injury and you just decided not to fight, dude. That's serious, and I'm glad you're doing better. Safe to say everything's okay? You're doing all right?
Yeah, I mean, since then everything's been a lot better. I've done some training since. I did have to take it easy for a little while, but yeah, everything since then has been all right. And that's kind of where me and my coach were at. We're talking about it, and we're not gonna. There's no way to do it. And this was a month out when this happened, so 2 weeks into 1 week of a full camp, and then like the last week is usually like a game plan rest, make sure you're clear and everything's good to go. So I wouldn't have been able to have a good fight camp for my pro debut, and that's just not what we wanted. So,
And I know you're a big lifter and you work out a lot, so I'm sure you probably lost some muscle and some weight being in the hospital a few days and everything.
yeah, and I mean, I really had to like I was eating hospital food actually for the first 2 days. I didn't eat at all in there, so I lost a bunch of weight, which for the weight loss regimen in the camp would have been good, but it's not how you want to do it.
Not the right kind of weight.
I came out feeling super weak, and the swelling on my face is gonna go down for a while. So it just all worked out that like it just wasn't the right time, wasn't the right time to do a pro, wasn't the right fight to do it. So even though it wasn't the backyard, AC was gonna be great. I would have sold more tickets than I've ever sold in my life. Would have had all my friends and family there, but it just wasn't the case. I'm gonna go down there, support my teammates this weekend, watch them get their hands raised, and we'll be back in there. I'm not too worried about it.
Super young. Don't be worried about it. As you said, definitely a bummer, man. I'm sincerely sorry. That's a shame. Excuse me. I talked to your teammate Jerry Leshy last week, just asking him about you. He said, from an outside perspective, you're doing great. You're back at it already. So I can't wait to see you back in there, man. And as you mentioned, you're sharing the card with some of your teammates, right? Frank Wells, Jerry Leshy, Eric Nighttime Nolan. I mean, and even you got Ian Austin from Philadelphia, Eddie Torres, main event fighter from New Jersey. So a lot of hometown heroes. This is kind of a dickhead question, for lack of better terms on my part, but sharing the cards with those guys, hometown and AC, first pro debut fight. Like, obviously that stings that the fight is pulled, right? Is that going to give you some like extra fuel, fire, motivation for when you do reschedule the pro debut?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just hearing that gives me the chills because like I'm so excited to get back to training fully and everything to be back to how it was when it comes to health and how I feel going forward. And I'm just looking to elevate. That just gives me more time to get better. And all I'm looking to do every day that I'm in that gym is to get better and sharpen my skills and just really take it day by day. So when I do fight and I do make my pro debut, I do make a statement. And those people that watch and the bigger names and stuff, I could put on that radar. And that's really my only goal is just to really show the package I'm bringing at 205 pounds and to put everyone kind of on a notice that there's a new wave of fighter coming in that's really well-rounded and really follows a game plan, executes a game plan, and does it in a way that's very technically sound.
Yeah, man, for sure. So obviously bad timing with the injury, because it's not like you have a swollen face and you're in the hospital on fight night, but you're not back to 100% yet, but you probably will be back to 100% next week or the week after. So I'm sure that's very frustrating in itself. So let me just ask you, I know you're probably ready to get back in there almost as soon as possible. I'm not sure when CFFC 117 is going to be, but any idea when you want to fight again? What's your plan there?
I mean, yeah, like it sucks because by the time fight night comes around, I'll probably be like close to being 100% again and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Stepped in, but I wouldn't have had a fight camp. So really, it's the next fight that's available. If they want to give me a date, and I don't know, I think their next date I heard might be February or March. If that's the case, we'll just game plan for that, and we'll just prepare for that. Like I said, every day that I'm not getting set for a fight, I'm just gonna be training. So it just be all work towards the next goal, which is my next fight, the pro debut, and it's gonna be a statement. So that's really all I'm looking forward to.
Any attachment to Arelvis as an opponent? Would you like to fight him again, or you don't give a crap?
No, I mean it's really I've only met him a few times, and we've been on a few cards together, and he seems like a real cool dude. I think he's like a dad, has some kids and stuff. He seems like a real cool guy. He's Cuban, I'm Cuban. I have no like attachment to fighting him, but if that's who they put in front of me, then that's who I'll fight. We did have 2 scheduled fights now, and it's the only 2 scheduled fights that I've had that got pulled out. So I don't know if that's a weird omen above it, but either way, like whoever they put there, I'm down to fight whoever. I have no I'm not in the space yet where I'm like calling people out or I'm looking for fights, you know.
Sure. Well, hey man, maybe third time will be the charm, but regardless, doesn't matter who you're against. I'm excited to see you back in there. So real quick, let me do a quick little flash questions real quick. You have Jerry Leshy, Eric Nolan, and who am I? Frank Wells fighting this weekend.
Pat Caracappa is also on our team.
He's the only one I haven't talked to, so that's why I didn't mention him. So let me ask you real quick. Gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Ask each of their fights. You're gonna give me like a 5 to 10 second rundown how you think it's going to go down. Let's start with Pat.
Who we starting with? Matt.
Matt, did I say Pat?
I just think Matt's technique's gonna shine through. The kid's got crazy striking, and if he wants to go to the ground with it, he's got great wrestling. So I think wherever he wants to take it, it's gonna be a bad day for his opponent. And I think that it's gonna be a striking type of fight where you're gonna see Matt striking really shine. And I don't doubt a knockout early in, just because he's got hands and he throws very hard. So.
And like I said, Matt's the only one from your gym of like you guys that I haven't really talked to yet. So I'm looking forward to do that soon. Talking about wrestling, also pro debut, Jerry Leshy. How's he get it done?
That's my guy. That's the menace. I gave him that nickname, and it's just the kid is good everywhere, but he's super good at wrestling, super scrambled. Like he can move with anyone, he can flow with anyone. And from what I understand, he's fighting a pretty good striker. So I'd like to see him showcase his hands too, because he ain't no bum when it comes to striking. That kid could throw with anyone. I've seen him in the gym sparring with some big names, and he put a whooping on some big guys. So wherever that kid wants to take it, which it's not going to be the ground. He does not want to go to the ground with Jerry. If it goes there, it's going to be over for him. But if he wants to stand with Jerry, Jerry could take him down at any time, but also he could bang with him. So I think that fight, because they're a little smaller, I think it lasts a little longer, but I think Jerry gets the finish.
Love it, man.
I think it's going to be a TKO.
Love it. Some ground and pound or just a clean.
Yeah.
Love it. Nighttime Nolan, what's up there?
I think his striking's too clean for this man. I think he's going to be too on point, too technically sound when it comes to in and out movement with his striking. If the kid wants to go wrestling, Eric can wrestle with the best of them. I'm in there with him sparring and stuff, and he could wrestle. He could take you down. He could defend takedowns. Well-rounded fighter. So wherever that goes, I think Eric's going to be the person coming out on top of any of those positions. But I see Eric getting another knockout. I think that his opponent is more of a big type of blow, big punches and stuff, goes for the gusto, and I think he's going to catch him in between and just pick him apart and eventually put him down.
Precision beats power, baby, all day. It does. Frank Wells get back in the dub column. His last fight, bro. Oh, man, it was tough.
He fought it. I mean, that was a game fight. Both these guys are warriors. I think he's just technically sound in the striking department, and I think that he's going to get this dub via that, just being a dog and letting that technique shine through on his striking. I don't think somebody's going to be able to get in on him, because I think he'll be able to keep his range and let those hands go and his kicks go. He's very technically sound in that aspect.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Frank get back in there and get in the dub column again, because as I said, that last fight was a tough fight, but it was very exciting. And on my couch, man, it was a good one to watch. I wish it went his way, but
Wild.
crazy. And you said you're going to be there in person this weekend, yeah?
Yes.
I am also, and I haven't been to a CFFC card in like over a year, dude. So I'm freaking hype as hell. Just describe the environment, because you got 4 teammates fighting. What kind of crowd are you guys going to bring?
I know that there's gonna be a lot of Dante Rivera supporters there when it comes to our team, and just the AC environment. I've been to 2, I think, Hard Rock shows, and that the atmosphere there is just unbelievable. I was so excited to fight in that atmosphere, but it's gonna be packed out for like local talents when it comes to our gym, and then like you said, the other guys that are kind of local. There's just gonna be a lot of energy there, and CFFC puts on such a great show. So I'm super excited, and I'm super excited to see my boys just like come out on top. 3 dubs, 4 dubs, a couple finishes, maybe all four finishes, but either way, we're all coming on with the dubs, and I'm super excited to watch.
Where are your seats at? You front row?
No, I mean, I think I'm front row in the general. I still had seats from when I was selling tickets. I just made sure I bought. In the meantime, I just bought a few of my own, just like beforehand for my family. But then they all like once my thing got backed out, I just took them for myself, and so I got a pretty good seat.
I think I got like the luxury floor seats or whatever, but I'll see you there, bro. Excited to meet you in person finally. So we're talking about your teammates at Dante Rivera, Team Taino, John Marquez MMA, Daniel Gracie BJJ, great gyms showing out. Philly's going to be popping, but let's talk about Dante Rivera and your guys. That's your main gym. How has training been there, dude? I've asked you about it before, but for people who are new to this page and haven't watched your old interview, just tell me a little bit about who you train with and what the vibe's like at your gym.
I mean, if you come in, the first thing you're gonna realize is like the way that Dante interacts, and my coach Ash, how are my coaches and professors, how they interact with the team is just, it's not like other gyms. It's super. They know everyone. It's like a family there. Everyone's busting on each other. Dante's always busting on people. It's a very like lighthearted, fun environment. But I mean, when we're training, it's a doghouse, especially when it comes to like a hard MMA session. We're doing sparring stuff. It's a doghouse. Don't get it twisted. There's no one in there that's not doing it because they really want to reach the highest of levels. So the people that are in there that are working are getting after it. I mean, myself, Nick Galanti, he's fought on CFFC, just got himself a title, next gen title. Jerry Leshy, Eric Nolan, Matt Caracappa, Nick Caracappa, Phil Caracappa.
Damn,
And then
a lot of Caracapas.
there's 3 of them, and all 3 of them are dogs, and they've all have belts around their waist at some point. And then we got smaller guys that are training with Jerry Lesher, like Dan Espo. We got a bunch of killers in this place. I got my boy, bigger boys like Tristan, Mixa, just a bunch of killers in there. And when it comes to like work ethic and just work load, there's a lot of guys in there that really get it and really put the work forward. And then afterwards, we're all hanging out afterwards, and we're watching fights together. We're kicking on weekends. So I think that's the coolest thing about our gym, is it's not just gym partners and then we peace off and we don't see each other till next session. We're in group chats with each other. We're hanging out. We're talking to each other all day long. So it makes it that much easier to push each other in a fight camp when you're really boys with the person or friends with the person. So like everyone's got your best interest in that sense.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to make it over there one day and hopefully get some interviews in person with you guys, because, just from talking with the Daniel Gracie and John Marquez guys, they have nothing but respect for you and nothing but nice things to say. And speaking of killers, something I noticed from your Instagram and Corey Anderson's Instagram is that you were helping him train for his light heavyweight Bellator fight. How did that come about, man? And what was that like?
So I've trained with Corey in the past, like once or twice, through mutual training partners. Carl Robinson, like we've trained before.
Yeah.
And I mean, they all trained at Dante's before, and they're very close with Dante. So Corey's always reached out. He's reached out to me in the past before, just about because I'm bigger body, like to get work in. But it's never worked out where I can get over there because I was either injured or something like that, or sick. Like the day he would hit me up. So when this camp came about, and he talked to Dante, I believe, and then Dante said like Corey wants sparring, he needs bigger guys, you got to get over there. I was like, okay, perfect. Like I would love to train with him and like need to get in there and spar with him. And it just worked out where this whole past month, or 2 months ago or whatever it was, that I was going there on weekends and going over to Nick Catone's, which is also like a partner in gym with us, affiliate gym, because Dante and Nick had got their black belts together and stuff. So training there, it was cool. I mean, they're really welcoming, and like working with Corey, he's a great dude, a real humble dude. And he's a savage. Don't get it twisted. Like, we were doing dog rounds and I was getting humbled, but it was the coolest experience ever to be part of that high up level of a fight camp, seeing like what it really takes to, this man's training for a Bellator World Championship. So like, to see that pedigree of work, it really puts it in perspective of like where you're at, what do you have to do. It makes you go home. Like, once I'm leaving there, I'm like, did I do enough today? I'm doing extra workouts just because I'm like, that's where I want to be, So it's inspiring, man. It's really cool to be alongside those guys, not only just be alongside those guys, but to give them actual work and like actually get in there and not just be like a lump on a log, and really, really put in the time and see that whole camp, kind of like on the sparring days, at least, like see the fine tunings of how it works. It's really cool.
So you just said yourself, like, it's a good, along with all the great experience and technical, looks you get during fighting and sparring with Corey Anderson, you also get to kind of like test yourself and see, where am I? And I know your ultimate goal is obviously to make it to the UFC, to win the title, to go all the way. So like, that might seem like it's far away, but realistically, that might be like 5, 6, 7 years away, something like that. So training with Corey, how did that, like, where do you think you stack up, so to speak? Like, how did you come out of that and were you like, oh my God, wow, I got a long way to go? Or did you come out of that like, okay, like I did okay?
There's always stuff to build on, and he exploits all those things that you need to work on. Like, any type of little defect in your game, you're going to see when you go against that caliber of a guy. And yes, that's really what I try to come out of it, looking at it as that, like really cross my T's and dot my I's with my big things. Like, my cardio is good, my work in there is good. I'm not like, don't go out of there let him thinking like I didn't get a good round from Luke. Like, make sure that you're always at least there pushing the pace, like trying to be the best help you can be for him, while at the same time like learning through pushing. Like, I'm not in there just to be in there, but at the same time, like, I'm trying to get all the experience and all the feeling of being in that big environment like he is. So how do I stack up? He's got years of experience, man. There's levels to this stuff, and I know where I'm at. Where levels wise, will I be there one day? Absolutely, I don't doubt that in the slightest. But it's a learning experience, and it's one of those things that I'm glad that I got at this point in my career, because it's real to kind of put in perspective of where you want to be, like I said, and it's super obtainable if you stay the course and really focus on the smaller things, the fine tuning things, and then just let that work ethic really push it home.
So that's incredible, man. And training with Corey Anderson, I can't even imagine the wealth of knowledge you got from that. If another opportunity presents itself soon to train with Corey or to train with another high level fighter at another gym, are you one of those people that's going to take every opportunity you can in that aspect? Or are you going to maybe pass up some of those to stay at Dante? Like, because, as your name grows, as you keep getting dubs, as you get that pro debut dub, people are going to notice you. People are going to be like, hey, I want to spar with Luke. ATT is going to be like, yo, let's get Luke Fernandez in here, stuff like that. Like, are you going to be inclined to go to those gyms at some point?
I wouldn't be inclined to like leave. I'm not going to leave Dante's to go.
That's
train
not
with.
what I'm saying. I'm not.
But
Yeah, right.
Sparring around other people if they need a look with that, and they're willing to like get me out there and stuff like that. As long as it makes sense with my career and like my fight camps and stuff, I would definitely be down to do that. When it comes to Corey, we're like basically like teammates in the sense of like our coaches and stuff. So when it comes to that, I'm always down to help. And I've trained and talked with him before. Like, he's a very cool dude. So him reaching out to me and saying like, hey, I need rounds, I'll be there, dude. Absolutely.
A better question for me would have been, is there anybody in MMA that you would like to train with worldwide?
What I like to train with, any of those top guys, it would be super cool to get in the cage with them and really feel out, because you're always looking to see like where you're at. And this was just like a little taste of that. And it makes you really like hungry for the fact of like, oh, did I just have a good round, or am I there? Like, am I really getting there? Or did I just have a good round? Is he off today or the set? So like, you really want to chase that. Like, I want to go with everyone to see like where I really stack up. And if you don't have that feeling in this fight game, you're not really cut out for it. It's not the sport for you if you're not looking to go with the best. I got a tattoo on my leg that says sink or swim. And that's how I've always lived my life. I don't care if I'm new to something or whatever. I always had this mental backing that I think I could dive in and do it, even though I know in some aspects that's not going to work. But the only way to get good at something is to really submerge yourself in the deepest of competition in that, and just let yourself like get acquainted with that. That's how I did with wrestling. I got into wrestling late, and I think in this fight game stuff I got into that late. So I just think getting with the best competition and really like taking your licks and learning as you go, and just not letting your confidence wear, and just continuing to push, you'll get to the highest level as fast as you can.
As a little white belt over here down in Farmville, Pennsylvania, getting beat up by the bigger guys really teaches you a lot. So I can attest to that. So Luke, last fight out at CFFC 112, you get the second round knockout. You go 6-0 as an amateur. Haven't talked to you since that fight. Kind of just walk me through that, man. Great performance. Congratulations again. How did it go down?
I appreciate that. It feels like forever now, but
It was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of just went similar to how me and my coach and my training partners like figured it would go when it came to game plan and stuff like that. I mean, we didn't know if it would be on it. We'd be on our feet longer or whatever, but that's what we trained for. Is if he wants to stand and bang, I knew that there was going to be a hard straight left coming. I knew that he was dangerous because he's a southpaw and he has some power. But I was excited to kind of let my hands go. And I think the worst thing for me was actually landing a really clean, hard, straight right off the rip, because then I got really gun happy with my right hand. So I started kind of loading up and throwing it a little sloppy, where if I let my combinations go, I think my technique with my hands and my striking would have showed a lot cleaner. But I kind of got gun happy. It was new. And now going forward, I know that to really settle in certain situations, not like chase that finish with like one punch or stuff like that. But yeah, then we went to the ground, and I knew that he was a brown belt and had some serious technique on the ground and stuff. But I think my pressure and my wrestling awareness with my hips and my now jiu-jitsu skills, I think that really sets apart from those type of grapplers where it's jiu-jitsu based or whatever. I'm not one dimensional in that aspect. I think that my ground control game with my ground and pound really shines in that aspect, where I can kind of float and follow and smother you. Kind of like I try to make it seem like I'm a wet blanket, and just follow you where you are while you're getting hit. And I think that's the coolest part about MMA now, especially coming from when I was an amateur where I couldn't ground and pound to the face, and now I'm fully allowed to. And now as a pro, I could do whatever I want. But like that green light on the ground to start being able to drop some ground and pound was like a kid in a candy store. So that's where my game plan always kind of went in that fight, and it kind of just worked out. So
I thank myself every day for signing up for wrestling in middle school, because it just gives you that like top control heavy advantage. You know what I mean? Especially in MMA versus those off the back BJJ guys. And it showed in your fight 100%. So as I said, undefeated as an amateur, this was going to be your pro debut. What like made it be like, bam, this is my last amateur fight, I'm going pro next? When did that decision come about?
Well, I mean, I was getting asked by certain people, and not like pushed or anything, but I was constantly getting asked like after like my fourth win, like when are you gonna go pro? And my coach and myself were never trying to rush it. I was new to this game. I was only in it at that point for a year or two when people were asking me. So I was like, I'm just trying to get experience. But after the Rappa fight, we were thinking about going pro then. But then Dante was like, no, we're gonna do a quick turnaround. We'll do one more fight, and then after that, you can go pro. If everything goes good and you show that you like can go with a higher level opponent when it comes to like his wins and losses and his pedigree. So that's when we got that Reeves Davis opponent, and it was a higher level of experience. So once that worked out and like the fight happened how it did, I think it was just the last this decision at that point to move up and go pro.
Love it, man. And I know like you're a busy guy outside of the octagon, like you're a roofer, you know, you're always in the gym lifting. Are you going to keep working outside of being a pro fighter? Or I know right now, like I still see on your Instagram, you're up on the roofs every morning in the freezing cold. Props to you, bro. But how long does that continue? Do you have an end in sight for that?
I mean, I don't really have like a foreseeable end in that. I mean, I roof because I roof for one of my buddies that's the owner of the business, and he treats me well. He actually like sort of got me in with Dante,
Hmm.
friend of a friend. It was a crazy meeting how it happened, but like I feel like I owe a lot of like where I'm at right now to him, and also at work we have fun. So it's like
Sure.
I'm working now because like I need money to support myself. Everyone needs money. So and fighting right now doesn't pay all my bills, so gotta work. And once I get to that point where I can really, you know, let fighting take over, then yeah, I would take that step. But as for now, I don't see a foreseeable end in that until that call comes where I can now, you know, support myself while fighting. But for now, the roofs are where I stay.
Hey, man, if you're working with your friends and having a good time, not even every day, most days, that's a very rare thing. Don't give that
Yeah.
up if you don't have to.
Yeah.
Luke, I assume, I don't know if I've even asked you this before, but I assume you're a UFC fan, correct?
Yes, sir.
Just making sure. Did you watch UFC 282 last week?
I did.
I just got to ask you about two of these fights. One, ooh, Patty Pimblett,
I knew you were gonna ask that.
Jared Gordon. That was, I don't know. Robberies, so to speak, robberies in quotations, don't bother me a lot. That one got me real good.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where like I once it was going to the decision, the scorecards, I just in my head I was like, they're not going to give this to anyone besides Patty. I just you know what they're doing when it comes to building up a fighter, and it's just one of those things that sucks for Gordon because I mean he did I think everything right in that fight to get the victory, but I mean at the end of the day I guess don't leave it up to the judges.
Yeah,
Tough,
man.
tough.
You hear about like Doug Crosby was one of those judges. You hear about him scoring that Danny Sabatello and Stotts fight in Bellator. He did it like 50 to 45 Sabatello. Every other judge had it 48, 47 Stotts. So Doug Crosby's on the hot seat.
Yeah. I think when they see that, they should really start taking that into account and like holding judges accountable for being like if it's a real big sway, if everyone has it one way and there's one judge that has the complete opposite way for the other fighter, that has to be addressed.
Yeah, it's especially with all the stuff going on with like fixing fights and gambling
Yeah.
in the UFC lately.
Yep.
Fishy, don't like it. But regardless, Patty the Pimblett moves on. Now that light heavyweight title fight, that was a bit of a buzzkill, man.
Yeah, it was an interesting way to end the night, and then afterwards, the news of like what's going on with the light heavyweight division was real interesting.
Yeah, because Anthony Smith was live on air and found out he lost his opponent,
Yeah,
Jamal Hill. Like shenanigans is what I call it. But it's entertaining, and I'm gonna watch it no matter what happens. But Luke, let me just ask you real quick, man. I don't have much else for you. I've already asked about you in the past. I feel like I know you virtually. I'm excited to meet you in person on Friday. Anything going on for the holidays? Any big plans?
No, I mean, other than seeing family, eating some good food. Now that I'm not, I'm not in the fight camp and stuff. I've been eating pretty good. So, training and basically just hanging out with family and watching fights.
Good stuff, man. That's really all we can ask for. So, Luke, before we get out of here, you have fans, supporters, friends, family, as you just mentioned. I'm sure soon enough, if you don't have them yet, you'll even have some haters. So let me just ask you, is there anything you'd like to say to everybody watching this video? I'll post it on Twitter and Instagram too. The mic is yours.
Yeah, guys, check out CFFC. What is it? What's the one coming up?
116.
116. I got some boys fighting on it. Eric Nighttime Nolan, Matt, Teflon Don Caracappa, and Jerry, the Menace Leshy. I got teammates fighting on it, so go check that out. I'll be there. And you can follow me on Instagram or whatever you want to follow me on. I guess that's really all I got. Otherwise, yeah, that's it. Pretty much. Excited to get back in there.
Excited to get you back in there, bro. I want that pro debut as a fan. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, as Luke said, please go follow this guy. He is someone you do not want to miss out on. His career is very bright. Just go watch his YouTube highlights if you don't believe me. But I'll link all your socials below. Like I said, go follow him. Luke Fernandez, my man. Thank you so much. I will see you Friday. And be well, my friend. Stay healthy and get back in there.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course, brother.